Anyone who's played's where everything begins. But what if, like me, you spawn in the middle from the villagers? Or the Iron Golem will come say hello to you instead. I've already gotten the villagers' permission. Nice start too, we even got 2 iron ingots. But our goal is... This little bit of loot still isn't enough, we need to keep scavenging. Sorry about that. Since this is all open ground, just to borrow a little wood and stone from you. This place is just too barren. So after crafting basic tools, the first thing I did was leave the plains. After a long journey, I finally reached the edge of the plains. Lucky me, there was even a village nearby. But this village seemed different from the ones I usually see. Some of the villagers were fully on, as if they were on high alert. But since they didn't attack me, I didn't think too much of it. After all, my goal was just to beat the Ender Dragon and finish this world. Since they weren't after me, I might as well hurry up and gather supplies. Now that I had food and wood, it was time to go mining. I was still 2 iron ingots short, after all. Alright, that's the last of the iron gear. Let's explore a little deeper. Hey, this is kind of in the way. Oh, looks like I can go down from here. Wait, it's this high? Whoa, I almost fell to my death. Right after I landed, suddenly appeared. It tried to attack. Definitely didn't look like something native to Minecraft. I still hadn't realized how serious things were. In vanilla Minecraft, monsters like this shouldn't exist at all. Take this, my finishing blow. When I tried to keep exploring this cave, more and more of those strange creatures appeared. After being forced into a fight, I woke up back in bed. I never expected those monsters in the village too. I guess those armed villagers from before were guarding against these things. Take this! Take this! Eat this! Trying to sneak up on me? I'll kill you too. Since I'm already back on the surface, I'm not going to keep my anymore. But it's enough to fight the Ender Dragon. Next, we're heading straight for a ruined obsidian portal. The way I saw a place filled with cherry blossoms. Just as I was admiring it, I spotted an iron golem. The same kind of monster I ran into earlier, so I rushed over and helped him defeat them. Once the immediate danger was over, the iron golem and I agreed to travel together. With this, Millie couldn't handle it alone. Along the way, we talked to each other and learned about each other's goals. I found out he had left the village to exterminate monsters. Though he normally stayed behind, he used this mission as an excuse to see the world beyond the village. But an evil from beyond the heavens is about, and he feared he'd never get another chance to see the world. I didn't believe him at first, but all the strange things we'd run into on the way, combined with what he told me and his identity, that this so-called disaster really did exist. And on top of that, even more horrifying monsters. But the Iron Golem didn't object. In fact, he offered to come with me to slay the Ender Dragon. He said only by wiping out these monsters' future trouble. I thought it over and told him, some things really do need someone to step up and do them. Before we set out, I noticed the Iron Golem looked uneasy, so I told him, I'm a skilled player. Stick with me and I'll get through this disaster. He readily agreed. In that case, let's go. My prince. You have a few debts, that shit it needs to be paid with blood or some sort of pain. You caused a permanent stain which has determined your fate. I've never seen so clear. I feel the end and it's near. The day of reckoning's here. The sound of deafening fear. we defeated, we took the Dragon Egg. I thought that meant the run was over and I could finally leave, but another brutal battle began. That was when I knew for sure the disaster the villagers talked about was real. The Ironmen and I fought them fiercely for a long time. During that time, their numbers kept growing, and they were undergoing terrifying mutations. So I decided the Iron Golem and I each make a run for it. While fleeing, I realized the whole world was also... More and more eerie things that didn't belong in this world were slowly appearing. As I walked, I reached the snowy mountain near my spawn. One glance back filled me with terror. That horrifying sight made me want to flee immediately. But on my way down the mountain, monsters blocked my path. One of them was fully armed, and at a glance, so I retreated to a relatively safe spot, trying to figure out how to escape. Was completely surrounded by monsters now, and behind me was a bottomless abyss. Maybe I was going to be trapped here forever. Just as despair set in, the Iron Golem suddenly appeared in front of me. Without a word, he charged straight in, and I joined the fight without hesitation. Working together, we took down the monster, but he still wanted to keep fighting. So I picked him up and ran, because I knew we couldn't waste any more time. We had already drawn the gaze of some unknown great horror. Still, thanks to our teamwork, after a hard struggle, we finally escaped danger. But this was far from over. In the days ahead, we'd have to prepare as quickly as possible for the disaster still to come. After a successful retreat, we arrived at a village not too far from my spawn point. That would make moving around easier later. I decided to build my base here. Scouts would show up once in a while, but they were just minor underlings and couldn't really threaten me. Our supplies were still desperately short, so I went back to doing what I do best. By the time I gathered enough resources and returned to the surface, I had lost track of how many... After working for so long, I was exhausted too. So I decided to get some proper rest. Only then would I have the energy to build my super base. This base is a bit shabby, sure, but small as it is, it has everything I need. Back to the point, this isn't the time to worry about looks. Could attack us at any moment, so we need to arm ourselves as quickly as possible. I prepared a gun and some bullets. I figured that should be enough for now. Once the Iron Golem and I geared up, we returned to the spawn point to check how the fungus was spreading. We found the fungal growth had gotten even larger. We could barely even get close to the island in the middle. The villagers who used to be stationed there had long since which showed just how serious things had been. At first, the two of us planned to destroy the source of the corruption before the strange fungus had fully... But after a long battle against it, even though we had gained the upper hand, there were simply too many of them. We were almost out of ammo and still couldn't get close to the mass. Left with no choice, I had the Iron Golem enter my dimensional backpack and we fled in defeat. The gap between was just too huge. We knew there was no way we could stop this disaster by ourselves. So after reviving, Golem brought me to this village. The gear he used had been made by the villagers here. I had a friendly conversation with the village chief, and since we shared the same goal, he went inside and brought me a book. I gave it a quick look. The book recorded various methods, as well as ways to deal with the disaster. The villagers also asked me to stand with them against it. Since we were fighting for the same cause anyway, I agreed. The golems made by that method had no self-awareness and would obey their creator completely. Among them, the Uni was especially powerful. So, crafting a Uni golem became our top priority. Since too many people might disturb the receiver, I went alone to the ancients to obtain the materials for crafting the Uni golem, things like I was. The warden still noticed me, but instead of attacking, he gestured for me. The warden led me to the center of the ancient city and took the very item I needed out of a chest into me. I was baffled. How did he know what I wanted, and why was he helping me? The receiver said that through sensing the Uni substance, he had learned about me and the outside world. Then he explained the whole story to me. The Uni people were never fond of conflict. They only wanted to live peacefully in this underground ancient city. But some of them grew curious about what it felt like to have. So they infected other creatures And the first time they saw the world through those eyes, they were captivated by its beauty. At first, they only borrowed other creatures' bodies temporarily. Leaving the host after a short time caused no lasting harm, but after tasting the light once, they became more and more obsessed with it, no longer caring about their hosts or ecological balance. In the end, they took advantage of the End's weakening power and seized the boss of the End. And amid the chaos caused by the evil from beyond the sky, they launched a rebellion. Finally, they left the ancient city with part of their kin. I accepted the warden's request, took the item he gave me, and turned to leave the ancient city. But when I got back to the univirus had already begun infecting it. Still, it was the perfect chance to test the purification method I got from the villager. After purifying the base, it was time for our golem craft to take the stage. Aside from the golems themselves, there was also an all-purpose wand that could command them freely, and naturally we couldn't skip that. Okay, all done. Next, let's gather materials and deal with the Uni tribe first. Then we'll use a Uni Creeper explosion to turn this corrupted obsidian into corrupted obsidian. With our combined efforts, we finally gathered the last material needed for the Pure Heart. Once we had everything and were getting ready to head back, we discovered that Fungus had actually spawned creature to keep it from causing even greater harm, and we took it out while we had the chance. Along the way, we had slain all kinds of monsters, and now we'd even killed a disaster creature. For a moment, I felt like we were unstoppable. Little did I know our entire journey had already been watched by the corruption. We had been careless the whole time. It's the remaining traces of the corruption. Our every move had long been exposed to its eyes. When we started organizing our supplies, preparing to launch our final assault on the Uni tribe, we noticed something strange outside. At the time, I hadn't realized this monster was only the beginning. The moment I tried to go back inside, I was hit by a fierce attack. Only then did I realize the army had launched a surprise raid. So my golem squad and I were forced into our first head-on battle against the corruption army. I have no idea how long that battle lasted. I only know I kept waking up in bed and emptying magazine after magazine. I had no idea how the Iron Golem was doing, but the battle was too intense for me to spare attention anywhere else. He wasn't made from the method in that book. He had a will of his own. He should know how to retreat on his own. Using the bed's endless revive, I finally outlasted those monsters. I was overjoyed while cleaning up the battlefield, until I accidentally saw an ingot lying on the ground. I silently picked it up, then continued preparing to destroy the source of the corruption. Later, while gathering supplies, I came across a cherry blossom sinkhole. I never thought that in such a chaotic world, a beauty still exists, uncorroded by the blight. After returning to base, I prepared to craft the Pure Heart to use against the Uni tribe first. I also made a humanoid golem to test how strong it was in battle. For some reason, it couldn't move. Since it couldn't move, there was no point waiting for the golem to respond. I didn't have much time left. After spending some time, I finally enough energy and made the Pure Heart. At the same time, I also used the materials dropped by monsters in battle after being crushed for so long. It was time to go on the offensive. I destroyed the source of the Uni infection. Next, I would have to face the root of this disaster itself. I knew this journey would be incredibly dangerous, so I opened the supplies they had given me. When I saw Oblivion, I hesitated for a moment, but in the end, I accepted the reality. At worst, I just might never be able to enter this world again, but if I didn't destroy the corruption now, I'd never get another chance. I never expected the bait to work so well that the fungus would actually send out a dome. I thought I had already wiped out most of the fungus's forces outside, but once I reached its main base, I realized just how terrifying the fungus really was. Even so, I had to take this thing down.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you want
blooms like a flower far away, all by the road, waiting for the one to find a way back home. Rain falls 1,000 times, no footprints of come and go. You who once went by, where will you belong? I feel your sigh and breath in the last blow of wind. Not yet for the story on the last page, it's not the end. Life blooms like a flower far away, all by the road, waiting for the one to find a way back home. Time flows across the world, there is always a longer way to go till I reach your
存档好像没崩，不过我可能出不去了。
up against the stream. Waterways will join us one, tracing to the source. No more streets are lost. You will see petals fly. Love then becomes carol. Could you please hear my voice that hungers for water? Life blooms like a flower far away, or by the road, waiting for the one to find a way back home. Time flows across the world, there is always a longer way to go till I reach your arms, no matter there for you.
I don't know.
这里待了多久？
I just can't think of a way out. In the end, I decided to quit this stupid world. After a while, I suddenly remembered my map mod could teleport me and I still hadn't picked, so I entered the world again. To my surprise, someone had built a road leading back to the outside. On the way, I passed the Cherry Blossom Basin I'd visited before, and figured since I was already here, I might as well take another look.